The effect of franchising on store performance. Evidence from an ownership change. A scholarly article critique by Noah Manassan. This is my reference for the scholarly article critique. Purpose of the article. The purpose of this article is to explore and analyze the effect that franchising can have on store performance while looking at a company that had an ownership change. Few key aspects: franchising, how franchising affects store performance, and organizational structure. Summary of the article. Applebee's put itself up for sale in 2007 and is bought by IHOP. IHOP has a strong preference toward franchising their stores. Before selling to IHOP, Applebee's stores were over 50% company owned and operated. By 2008, every Applebee's store in Texas was franchised. Ackerman analyzes this ownership change as well as the change in business strategy with data and makes the claim that franchising stores increases store performance. Using the case of Applebee's stores in Texas, which transitioned from corporate ownership to franchise ownership after IHOP's acquisition, Ackerman was able to analyze store performance both before and after. Ackerman's findings were that after the ownership change and organizational change, alcohol revenue increased by 15%, which supported the idea that franchising stores has a positive impact on store performance. However, it is to be noted that the increase in revenue was strictly in alcohol sales, not the overall performance of the store. Ackerman also provides a definition of franchising. According to Ackerman, franchising is an organizational form in which a franchisor creates a product, business plan, and trademarks and sells the right to open a branded store to a franchisee. How this article relates to the introduction of business. This article introduces the business structure of franchising and shows how franchising stores can either increase or decrease store performance. However, this article specifically looks at how franchising can increase store performance. This article also explains the difference between corporate ownership and franchising and even shows the importance of using data when making business decisions. This article explains that using data can help you make the best decision for your business. Looking at statistical evidence, you can see that the results of the previous business model and compare these results to that of a potential business model, much like Ackerman does with the Applebee's stores, both while under corporate business ownership and franchise ownership. Critique of the article. Intended audience. The intended audience for this article is primarily students studying business as well as business professionals who are interested in organizational strategies as well as the effect that they can have on the performance of a store. Since this article is from the Journal of Management Science, we can assume that the intended reader is someone who is interested in economics, business management, or is simply just trying to research business strategies. Was this article hard to understand? Yes, there are some parts of the article which are hard to understand unless you have an understanding of statistics, because most of the findings come from statistical evidence. However, the main idea of the article is clear and very easy to understand, as well as the findings of the author. The author does a great job of breaking down complex information so that readers who might not have this understanding of statistics can still understand the article and the position the author takes. Do we agree with the findings of the author? Yes. The article provides efficient evidence that led us to agree that franchising stores improve store performance and that statistics are vital to making business decisions. Through the use of statistical evidence and analyzing a real-life, natural example of an ownership change and a change in organizational structure, Ackerman was able to explain that franchising stores improves the performance of stores. Would we recommend this article? Yes, I would recommend this article to people who are interested in choosing the right mode of business, or even to students who are just trying to dive deeper into the realm of business and organizational structures of businesses. One setback is that without an in-depth knowledge of economic statistics and economic terminology, parts of this article can be hard to understand, so prior research may be necessary. Ideas for further research. Does the overall store performance continue to increase, or just one aspect of the store sales, for example, the increase in alcohol revenue? Does the franchise Does the franchising of stores have a greater effect on store performance for restaurants, or would franchising increase performance for other industries? And finally, would the 15% increase in revenue persist, increase, or diminish in the following years? Thank you for listening to my scholarly article critique.